tonight, but we begin with the convergence of two of the great sources of jaw-dropping, I can't believe that just happenedness in modern American politics. We have the mob rule, shut it down, screaming, don't talk about health care mobs, and we have Sarah Palin, the now unemployed former vice presidential candidate and former Alaska governor, who turned to her Facebook page today to add this to our national conversation about reforming our healthcare system. She said, quote, "The America I know and love is not one in which my parents or my baby with Down syndrome will have to stand in front of Obama's death panel so his bureaucrats can decide, based on a subjective judgment of their level of productivity in society, whether they are worthy of health care. Such a system is downright evil." I actually agree. Of course, such a system isn't actually being considered by anyone. But don't let that hold you back. Last night on this show, we hosted Tim Phillips, the president of Americans for Prosperity. It's a Beltway organization with significant corporate funding. They're staffed by experienced Republican campaign strategists like Mr. Phillips himself. Americans for Prosperity has churned out a number of what appear to be grassroots organizations. They have names like Patients First and Patients United Now. And these groups are formed to oppose health care reform and to get people to pack these town hall meetings about health care. These groups direct people to town halls. They give them talking points to use there, and they try to get them fired up. Here, for example, is the fire 'em up message from a speaker on Mr. Phillips's Patients First bus tour, which yesterday held an event in Pueblo, Colorado.
If this new Obamacare program comes to fruition, when you reach 65 and every 5 years thereafter, you're going to have a counseling session with some federal airhead. Part of this process is called end-of-life counseling, and part of the end-of-life counseling can be an end-of-life order. Adolf Hitler issued 6 million end-of-life orders. He called his program the final solution. I kind of wonder what we're going to call ours. If you find that all this stuff is repugnant, as I do, you need to take it to the next step. You need to notify your congressman. How do you do that? How do you notify these people? You can call them, you can write them, you can email them, or you can go to their office and put the fear of God in them.
Put the fear of God in them. Because what Obama is doing with killing all these people, like Sarah Palin said, that's like what Hitler did, and you know what Hitler deserved? This is the rhetoric that corporate-funded GOP-allied groups like Americans for Prosperity are funneling through what they've set up to look like grassroots organizations to get people to go, put the fear of God into elected officials. Politico's reporting that an event planned by Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick of Arizona was overrun by protesters who showed up after receiving robocalls encouraging them to show up and demonstrate. Now, of course, the nice thing about robocalls is it's never easy to know exactly where they came from, but it is known that Conservatives for Patients' Rights, another one of these fake grassroots organizations, a $20 million operation run by former hospital CEO Rick Scott, that group posted the time and location of this event on its website. And what has started as rowdy and rude and mean-spirited disruptions has turned, in some cases, into actual violence, with several hospitalizations for minor injuries and some arrests being reported at healthcare town halls last night. What's also evident is that the anti-reform rhetoric increasingly is invoking specific references to Nazis and specific comparison of President Obama to Adolf Hitler. Here, for example, is a 16-year-old wearing a 16-year-old at a Denver town hall event wearing a T-shirt with a picture of the president and the words on it, "Hitler gave good speeches too." Here's a toddler in a stroller at the same event carrying a sign with a swastika that reads, "No to fascism." Here's a protester at a Michigan event held by Congressman John Dingell, carrying a sign that depicts the president with a Hitler mustache. Yesterday, talk show host Rush Limbaugh compared the president, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, the proposed health care reform, and the president's health care logo to Nazism and/or Hitler. And despite criticism from, among others, the Conservative National Review Online, the Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Congress, and Rabbi Marvin Heyer, who's founder of the Simon Wiesenthal Center, Rush Limbaugh actually retrenched with the whole Hitler-Nazism thing today.
By the way, his healthcare logo looks damn like the Nazi logo. I'm sorry, but it does. I didn't create either logo, but I have two eyes and I can see. Infuriating Democrats. Good. Is Obama not got a website where he's asking supporters to provide the names of people providing disinformation about the healthcare system? What did I say yesterday that is not true?
You know, there are people alive today who barely survived the Holocaust, and there are many people alive today whose whole families were killed in the Holocaust. Nazism is not a metaphor for a political policy you disagree with. Used deliberately as a strategy to characterize a political opponent, it has a very specific resonance with people looking to justify violence. The implication of conjuring up the Third Reich is that in the case of someone who's identified as a Nazi, as a modern-day Hitler, violence against that person, even murder, would not only be seen as justified, it might be celebrated. This rhetorical strategy sets the stage for political violence that the perpetrator could hope would be praised. As such, the idea of assassination or other kinds of political violence are always in the subtext. And you know, sometimes assassination isn't even in the subtext. Sometimes it just bubbles right up to the surface.
I wonder what it would be like. Seriously. I mean, if I could go, you know, to the Speaker's shindig. Speaker Pelosi, I just wanted to... You gonna drink your wine? Are you blind? Do those eyes not work? There you go. I want you to drink it now. Drink it. Drink it. Drink it. I really just wanted to thank you for having me over here to wine country. You know, to be invited, I thought I had to be a major Democratic donor, a longtime friend of yours, which I'm not. By the way, I put poison in your... No.
Yesterday, we played tape of a Republican congressman joking about lynching Democratic members of Congress. Now it's conservative national radio hosts calling the president Hitler, and conservative national television hosts joking about assassinating the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Right-wing media deliberately and systematically invoking both Nazism and political assassination. Hostile crowds consistently displaying Nazi symbolism at these demonstrations. The corporate-funded anti-reform movement using Hitler as a rhetorical weapon against the president and against Democrats in Congress. It's scary, of course, if they don't understand the implications of their actions. And it's much, much scarier still if they do.